When my kids were younger, I was not a good stay-at-home mom. Like that's not where I excelled. And I felt like I had to do everything myself. Ashley Bufa is the mother of 10 children. Yes, 10. A business owner and a dedicated non-perfectionist home systems extraordinaire. She is passionate about teaching overwhelmed moms how to transform themselves from a minion martyr mindset into confident, capable, respected home CEOs. I am so happy and excited to introduce you to Ashley Bufa. Let's go take a chat. I felt like I had to do everything myself.
Well, when you have young kids, you kind of do have to do everything yourself,
right?
Unless you get help early on, because those early years, those are tough for. And I don't know that anyone ever truly is completely prepared for the marathon, and almost like it's like running the gauntlet, in the early years of parenthood, because you don't know what you're doing, but you have to know what you're doing, so it really, I feel like as women, that's probably always going to be the hardest time of our lives, is learning how to mom in those early years.
Absolutely. And just the pressure we put on ourselves. And I mean, I think I beat myself up more than not just by what I didn't know or what I didn't get right or how I handled something. I probably found this negative loop almost every single day.
Yeah. The negative loop is hard to get out of too, because there's so much, especially today. Like, I feel like it maybe wasn't so bad when I was first early momming. The internet wasn't quite as robust as it is now. But I feel like we almost get reinforced to stay in that negative loop.
And I think I took that negative loop. And for me, I went and I did the next thing I knew how to do. And that was to wear my badge of busy. And it didn't hit me until I think I was at a volunteer event at my kids' elementary school. And I won a pin. And I was like, they called my name. And I was like, what? I didn't even know it was a thing. And I won a pin for volunteering 500 hours that school year.
Oh my gosh.
Who knows that?
How is that even possible? Like, of course you should have gotten more than a pin.
I was like, I still have this. I actually keep it up in my house, in my office at my house, like front and center, to remind myself, like, that was the identity that I had.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot.
So one of the things that you talk about that I love is how having a well-run home is essential for good mental health.
It is. About that? It is. Well, let's take what you just said, which was earning a pin for 500 volunteer hours. Was that good for your mental health?
No.
Okay. So let's say instead that you applied those 500 hours, which you wouldn't even need 500 hours, let's be honest. Let's say you applied some of those hours to your home and making it so that when you open up your pantry door, you're like, ooh, it looks like Instagram in here, or, whatever it is. I have my things where I'm like, oh, that just makes me feel so good. Like a sitting room where you can go after a long, hard day of work and sit down with a cocktail and just like relax, because everything's beautiful. It's in its place there. You're not tripping over shoes to get there. Right. So like that right there, having a place, where you can go after your day and it's not somewhere else. Like it is in your home. It's under your own roof. You don't have to go to Target and shop to feel, because Target's beautifully organized. You don't have to go to Target to get that feeling, or, there's obviously nothing wrong with going to restaurants. I love going to restaurants, but what if like you could literally find that place in your own home to recharge after a long day and not get frustrated or not start to feel judged by your own house because it's messy and it needs to be cleaned up? Like, what if that was actually, that's like heaven on earth, right? Yeah. That's where the saying home sweet home and there's no place like home, that's where that came from, because that's what our homes used to be. They used to be our sanctuary. They used to be our favorite place in the whole world. And we've gotten so far away from that. And I think that that truly does affect our mental health, because we don't have homes as recharging centers, except for our iPhones.
Right.
It's not to recharge us anymore. It's almost like the place we want to get away from, because it reminds us of things we need to do or things we're not doing well, or, and I'm not by any means saying that it needs to all be done by you. Right. I am a huge, huge, huge proponent of having a domestic support team, having people come in, like giving people jobs, having people come in and help you. Somehow in the United States, we've gotten away from that being a norm. And it's the norm, like in most places in the world.
Right.
It's like, that's the first thing that, if you have a little bit of extra wiggle room in your budget, in other parts of the country, that's the first thing that you end up spending money on. Here, it's, cars and a new phone every 6 months and, all that other stuff, when, making our home that mecca almost should be high on our priority list, because it really does. It affects your mental health in so many ways that people don't even think about anymore.
Absolutely. And I could say for me, I got those 500 hours because I didn't want to be at home. Like I'm not good. As my husband says, I have no domestic skills. It's not that I don't have them. I don't want them. I don't.
It's just not on your, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's not where I want to spend my time.
Right.
And I can tell you now, because I do have help at home. And after I met you, I've had a person that's helped me clean once a week. And now she comes 3 days a week. And it is
I'm so proud of you.
Ever.
I'm so proud of you.
My husband's like, we should have done this years ago.
That's what everybody says. Everybody that I've met, whether it's me who has helped them find their people and train their people, or they do it on their own. That literally is the phrase that I hear over and over and over again. We should have done this years ago. Like, nobody's like, I really just don't need the extra help. Nobody ever says that. Everybody's always saying we should have done this sooner.
Right. And what I really loved about it is when I went to her and I was like, hey, I have this idea and I don't know what you do because the kids are getting ready to leave, but I got all kinds of things I don't want to do around here. And I really want to go spend time on the business and spend time going and like moving my kids to 3 different out of state, 3 different places out of state. I wanted to be able to do that. And what do you think about coming here? And she started crying. She was like, I ended up being able to give her a way out of another job that she was in that was toxic for her. And she is, I'm getting chills. She is so thankful and she is so sweet. And this morning I'm so spoiled. She's like, I already made your smoothie for you to leave for work. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Yes. So that right there, that's good mental health, right? I mean,
yeah, I love it. I come home, my bed's made 3 days a week. The other 4, not so much. It's like, oh, this is,
you got it nailed.
I'm like, this is so pretty.
It's really, it's transformative, which, it seems like something so basic wouldn't have that big of an impact on your life. But I mean, if you think about it historically, homes have always been the center of life for people, whether that's a tent or a cave or a castle, right? I mean, that's where you want to get back to, your home base.
So tell me a little bit more about this, how being a one-woman show is not the way to achieve a well-run home. Tell me more about that concept.
Well, at its most basic level, you're not the one that makes the whole mess, right? I mean, unless you live by yourself, but even then, maybe you have a dog or cat. Like, it's not, why should one woman have to be responsible for picking everything up when it's not one woman making the whole mess? That doesn't make any sense, right? And we all have different gifts. Like I happen to be, this is an area in my life where I have developed. I'm very domestic. I love doing it. It gives me chills. Like I just love, but I still have helpers, right? Not just my 10 kids. I have outside help coming in. But I think it's important as people that we use our gifts and we use our the places where we're naturally interested, right? So if you, Amy, have no natural interest in the running of your home, why should you try and like force that to happen when you could give employment to someone else and it blesses them by helping them out of a bad, toxic, right? So you could force yourself to do that and create your own bad, toxic work environment by doing that, by forcing yourself to do that. Or you could bless yourself and bless this person that you have found. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there's no point in trying to shove yourself into that role if it's not one that you were originally created and gifted to own.
And definitely not. And she loves it. Like she says, cleaning makes me happy. I mean, she gets so much joy. You could just see it. And I'm like, I don't understand, but okay, you do you. And I'm happy you're here.
Yes. Everyone benefits when we work in our, in our area of genius, really. But It's also our area of passion, because but now you're seeing the benefits and feeling the benefits. So you having this in your home is becoming your area of passion, right? So like you're really starting to enjoy that. And I just think that it's great that you're able to do that for this woman and help her get out of that awful situation and give her one that, now she's working for someone who treats her well and where she can really, really enjoy what she's doing instead of being over there, so it's one of these, it's kind of like a mindset shift that you have to have. It's not just like, I've talked to so many people who are like, well, I just feel really bad, having someone come in and do my laundry and run my home and cook my dinners when, so much of the world is starving or suffering from COVID or whatever it is, plug it in. But what they don't realize is that you're not just receiving that blessing yourself, you're giving it to someone else by, providing that for them as a way to earn their income doing something that they love. So it's kind of a mindset shift for some people, but once you start experiencing those benefits, it's why didn't we start this sooner?
So talk to me and tell everybody that's listening a little bit about what are the benefits of chores for your children's future?
Well, I'm not sure why this specific attitude has been directed so much towards chores, because, in terms of parenting, if you think about like, it's easier to read a book to your 5-year-old than to teach your 5-year-old how to read.
Yeah.
But so what, are you just not going to teach your 5-year-old how to read?
Yeah.
No, like either you teach them or they go to school and they learn how to read, even though like I homeschool. So I'm teaching my 7th kid how to read right now. Mm-hmm. It's not a fun process. It's really not. Like it's super rewarding, but the whole process is not fun. But you do it anyway because the kid needs to learn. We're starting to see some of the parents who don't ever teach their kids how to manage money.
Oh,
right.
Yes.
And they're 50, 60 years old and still footing their 20 and 30-year-olds bills where they're living in their basement or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we're starting to, that's becoming more of the norm.
Oh, yes, it is.
Because it's a lot easier for parents to just pay the bills than it is to let their child feel a little bit of discomfort over not being able to pay their own bills.
Yeah.
Should we keep doing that? No, we shouldn't. We've got to get into the point where we equate parenting with hard work because it is. Like parenting is not easy and it shouldn't be easy. So yeah, is it hard to teach your kid how to do the dishes and do it well? Yeah, it is. And for the first year or two, like they're going to be pretty bad at it and you got to take them back in there and show them again and again. But from where I'm sitting now, I've graduated 4 kids completely off of the dish rotation. All of my teenagers don't do dishes anymore because they've put in their time. They're master dishwashers and they don't get to graduate off until they are.
Yeah.
But at any moment, if any of my current 3 dishwashers get sick or has something else they have to do, I don't have to step in and do dishes because one of my well-trained teenagers can do it. And because of that, those teenagers, my teens know how to do everything. They know how to change the oil, wash the dishes, vacuum out the car. My oldest teen still vacuums my van every single week. They know how to do all of this stuff, mop the floors, vacuum, do the windows, polish the furniture, do the laundry. I mean, they know how to do all of this, which means that when they leave the nest, they can do that in their own home. They're not like, well, shoot, I don't know what to do, or they live in filth. I mean, because it's easier to learn as you're growing and to do it and get so much practice. So if you don't teach your kids how to do any chores, basically you're kind of telling them that taking care of your house doesn't matter. It's not important. You're not giving them any of those skills. I mean, it's almost like not sending them to school. I mean, we send kids to school so that they can learn how to get a job one day or create a business or whatever. Why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we put them through the school of taking care of your stuff? It just,
absolutely. I want you to tell everybody about your programs and what you do to help moms tackle this, achieve it, all of those things, because if I'd known about you 10 years ago, I'd have been feeling very confident in my abilities as a domestic engineer. And I am not, as my husband said, a domestic engineer.
Well, the good news is there's help.
Yes.
So I have basically a suite of products for both types of moms. So I have something for the moms who really can't afford to bring in any help yet. And then I also have some offerings for the moms who are ready to start hiring people and just really don't know how to do that. I have Smart Kids chore system that will teach you how to get your kids doing chores. And I'm just going to be like straight up honest. I think whether you have someone coming in and helping you or not, your kids should be doing chores too. Absolutely. And that is honestly, that can be a big part of keeping the house cleaned up. Me personally, I don't have to do a lot of it because I have a million kids. And so we all kind of work together. And because of that, it's not a whole lot of work for any one person. So I have a system to teach you how to get your kids doing chores. I have a home management system called Home CEO. I even have a system teaching you how to get your kids cooking in the kitchen, helping out with meals and all of that stuff. Like it's just, based around life skills, basically, because kids need to learn how to cook too. And so I have those, all for the mom who just doesn't really have the finances yet to have someone coming in. And then I also offer a service where I can help you get the help that you need in your house. So we go through a big questionnaire together and figure out exactly where your biggest areas are that you need help. Like I have one person who her biggest pain points were basically getting the laundry done and getting meals cooked during the week when she's working. And so that was when we started hiring help for her. Those were the two areas that we were trying to put out that fire first, because then it gave her room to breathe, And then there's another lady that I've helped, and her biggest thing was clutter and organization. Like it was just, there was stuff everywhere all the time. And so we hired a professional organizer to come in and just get like a clean sweep, get everything in beautiful containers and labeled. So basically now she has an Instagram home. Wow. And then helping her to hire someone to maintain all of that. So I basically have an offering where I can basically hold your hand through the whole process, getting everybody trained, getting the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, because that way you can hire, someone who's in high school or someone who's in college who really doesn't know anything about home management, but can follow a checklist. It's important to know what to do when. I'm a proponent of having a perpetually spring cleaned house. So like it always is spring cleaned around here. Like it always is that clean. But if you don't know what goes into that, you're not going to know how to task your help to get that stuff done. So, you walk away with basically SOPs for the whole year of what needs to be done each week to keep your home in tip-top shape. So it's basically white glove clean all the time, which who doesn't want that, right? Like we don't want to do it ourselves, but we definitely want it.
Absolutely. And I've only had this for a couple months now where we're just coming more of it. Like she's a member of my family now, but It's such a huge difference. I know like Mondays, and she comes Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, because those are my in-office front days where I am mostly drained at the end.
Right.
And I don't want her there Wednesday, Fridays, because those are my at-home work days. And I don't want to be around people.
Right.
So that's just me. But I know that when I have calls on Mondays, especially from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. solid, no break. And I do that to myself, but I know when I come home, my bed's going to be made, the dinner's going to be there. I don't have to come home and do all the chores. I could walk the dog if I want, but she's probably already done that too. And I could just be.
Yeah.
And I can fall into bed, not just like dying. Like,
right.
bed.
Yeah. You come
Amazing.
home and you can actually recharge instead of,
Yeah.
feeling even worse.
Yeah. And your checklist, I mean, top notch. So tell everybody what your website is. And I'm also going to put it in the show notes.
Yeah. So you can find me at freedommoms.com and everything's there. The checklist, the chore systems, or you can book a call to talk about more intense one-on-one work to get you where you need to be.
I love it. Like I said, everybody needs you and every mom needs you. So thank you so much for coming on Couch Time with me. And I appreciate it very much.
It was fun.